Wow, absolute craziness I would have never expected. What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. President Donald Trump just threw a complete wrench in everything, demanding larger stimulus checks. I'm just completely blindsided by this. Earlier in the week, we seen a statement from the White House, a White House aide who said that he would sign the stimulus package. And he has now just come out with this brand new announcement. I'm going to show it to you here in a second that has just completely thrown me off. I'm just completely out of words to say. Let me show you what President Trump just said regarding the next stimulus check and the next stimulus package.
Throughout the summer, Democrats cruelly blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID Relief Bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment, $25 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan, $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama, $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business, $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico, a provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees, $566 million for construction projects at the FBI. The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments. And not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I am also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done. Thank you very much.
Wow, absolutely just craziness. Before we get into the details of that, let me show you what leader of the Democrats, at least in the House, Joe Biden has not responded yet. I have a feeling I know what he'll say. Let me show you what Nancy Pelosi said. And again, he kind of like started this off blaming Nancy Pelosi at first, but let's see her reaction. So Nancy Pelosi actually shared President Donald Trump's video here and says Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks. At last, the president has now agreed to $2,000 that we just heard in his speech. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. Let's do it. President Donald Trump then tweeted after that video, kind of blasting Republicans, his own Republicans. He says, Republicans in the Senate so quickly forget right now they would be 8 seats without my backing them in the last election, 8 seats in the Senate. Rhino June Thune, Mitch's boy, should just let it play out. John Thune. South Dakota doesn't like weakness. He will be primaried in 2022. Political career over. Wow, absolutely crazy. So let's talk about this. One, President Donald Trump didn't specifically say that he would veto the bill. The way this works is it's going to go to his desk. From what I understand, it's not at the president's desk yet. Okay, he hasn't even had a chance to sign it because basically they're formalizing the bill and then they have to send it to the president. Okay, so he hasn't received the bill yet, as I'm aware. Then once he gets it, he has 10 days to sign it into law. If he doesn't sign it or veto it within 10 days, then it automatically becomes law. He didn't specifically mention veto, but I think that's kind of what he means, the gist of what we're saying here. He's going to veto this bill. Well, this is just absolutely so crazy. I don't even know where to begin. So one, he's mad about all that money going to foreign aid. I totally agree with him. Like, we're sending money to Pakistan and all these different countries, Cambodia, and millions and billions of dollars. And yeah, that money should go to the American people instead. Okay. Next is that to make these checks $2,000 would be around $300 billion more. 300 billion, maybe a little bit more than $300 billion more to bring these checks up to $2,000. Nancy Pelosi says the Democrats are for it. And honestly, that's true. That's very consistent with what the Democrats have wanted. I mean, remember, they wanted a $2.2 trillion HEROES Act, $2.2 to $2.4 trillion. So Nancy Pelosi says, I'm for it. The people we got to convince are the Republican senators. Remember, the Democrats can pass this in the House on their own, but we only need 12 senators to basically pass this bill in the Senate. We know that Senator Josh Hawley, who basically is kind of, him and Trump are like step by step. They're saying the exact same thing almost every other day when we hear one of them speak. Trump saying larger checks, Hawley saying larger checks, Bernie Sanders is saying larger checks. They're all kind of on the same page when it comes to the checks. But of course, then we have those Senate Republicans like Ron Johnson and Rand Paul, who literally don't want to pass anything. They want to pass $0. Forget them. Throw them out the window. We only need 12 Republican senators to pass this bill. Now, kind of the bad news is this will at least delay things at least a little bit. And God, let's hope that they can get this passed because, again, they still have to now go re-vote on it. Is he going to actually veto it? Are they going to remake a bill here? I mean, Christmas is in literally 2 to 3 days. Are they going to get this done before Christmas? They have to draft this bill, re-vote on it. Are they going to actually re-vote on it? Are the Republicans going to go with it? What are the Republicans like Ron Johnson and Rand Paul going to say? They didn't even want to give you guys $1. So, well, when we know what they're going to say no. But are they going to get enough Republican support? This is just absolutely just the craziest thing. Came so out of left field. I wasn't expecting this. In fact, I was watching my 8 p.m. video. It just went live. Of course, I have to record these things like, an hour or two before. I have to record it. My wife's got to edit it. We have to upload it to YouTube. It's got to process. All that stuff takes a little bit of time. My 8 p.m. video went live, and comment after comment was like, Trump's not going to sign it. Trump's not going to sign it. Trump's going to sign it. I'm like, why is everybody being so negative? Because, there's always negative people and positive people in there. We try to pay attention more to the positive people. But then I was like, why are they all saying the same thing? And then all of a sudden somebody said, Trump just said on TV he's not going to sign it. And I was like, oh, Well, that's a different comment more than just, somebody saying Trump's not going to sign it. There's a little more context to it there. And I was like, oh my God. I watched that video and I was just like, I was just so, I didn't, it was like this, like, I don't even know what to think. So it's really great news if they can pass it in a timely fashion, which they can do. I mean, the Democrats control the House alone, but they have, and then is he going to demand all those other things, that all that money for all these other countries and stuff that's not related to the pandemic, especially in the U.S. Like, is he going to demand all that stuff gets removed? It's just absolute craziness. And it's interesting that he called the bill a disgrace. I personally thought that it was just going to be like, hey, let's get this bill out. Then they can work on the next stimulus package, which is literally only a few weeks away when Biden comes in. Of course, President Trump says there at the end that he might still be the president. It's going to be very difficult for him to do that, but I mean, he's fighting this thing tooth and nail. So, wow. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Trump will veto this bill? And basically, then we don't have a stimulus package. But do you think they'll be able to pass it quickly? Do you think they'll be able to draft it quickly? Do you think the Republican senators will pass this? Remember, they only need 12 of them. We know Josh Hawley will go for it. Do you think they can get 11 more Republican senators? They did get an overwhelming amount of Republican senators from the past vote that was literally just 2 days ago. Remember this bill with the $600 checks and the $300 per week unemployment extension? That did pass the House and the Senate, and it was like a 90% approval rating in the Senate. It was actually a little bit lower in the House because there's just more people in there. But man, this is just completely out of left field. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe with the bell icon on so you don't miss out on new videos. You probably didn't get a notification for this one because you can only get 3 per day. But yeah, absolute craziness. My next video will go live at 10 a.m. Videos at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subtract 3 hours for West Coast, and I will give you guys the newest updates in the morning, or if you might be watching this in the morning. Yeah. Click here for my newest stimulus check update, and this bottom video is on my other channel, The Daily Dirt, about how Nancy Pelosi turned down a larger stimulus package in the past. This video teaches you how to sell products on Amazon, which I teach people how to do. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.